All right, so is there another question that you want us to
And then there's okay, x divided
that
by 4 equals 8.3.
like this?
Yeah.
Okay. So you just said it, x is being divided by 4. X is divided by 4. So you undo that by multiplying
Line
by 4. So you actually multiply both sides by
by
4.
4.
Yeah. Now on the left, it's the easier case. It's 4 times x over 4, and the 4's cancel.
Yeah. So then it would just become
Just becomes x. Now on the right, this is where you have to write it out vertically and work it
yeah.
out. So when you multiply decimals, you don't have to actually line them up. You just have to get the one with more
Yeah.
digits
And then that would
on top.
Then that would be 32. And then, no, oh sorry. Okay. 33 plus 2 would be 35.
Is that your final answer?
3.5?
Well, I heard a lot of good things there. I mean, it's 4 times 3. What is that?
12.
So you put
So
the
you
2
put the
down here
2,
with the carry
carry
of
the
1
1, and then 4 times 8 is 32
plus the
plus
1
1. Oh, okay. It's
is
33.
33.
Okay, so 33.2. Okay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I've got like 3 more levels left on my division or on my multiplication for rocket math, so I'm starting to get
Fantastic. So that's your answer. The x is 33.2.
okay. Uh, and then I think there was one more thing that was helpful on. And that was it was a 5-step problem solve.
Okay. Any way you could get a picture of it over, or
I
I
might
guess,
be able
or I guess,
to,
or you
but
could, or you could read it,
well,
I
so I'll
suppose.
read it out. It's okay. Okay. The area of the floor in Devin's room is 35.7 square meters. The width is 4.2 meters. What is the length of the bedroom?
Okay, very good. So the step 1, based on your instructors, what they want. Do you remember what step 1 is?
Step 1, isn't it like right what you need to find, or does that draw a model?
Nope. Step 1 is to state what you're trying to find.
Yeah. What is the length of the bedroom?
Yeah. So it's to determine the length of the bedroom. Step 2 is to draw the picture. So I think it's reasonable to draw a rectangle here, some sort of a rectangle. Does it matter which is W and which is L when you're drawing a rectangle like this?
Yes.
It really does not. I mean, there's preferences. I mean, a lot of people like the W to be on the bottom and L to be on the side, but it really doesn't matter. You'll use different letters in the more math you take.
Okay.
Now, do we know either of these measurements? We do. We know the
Yeah, we
width
do.
is 4.2. We also know the area is 35.7.
Yes.
Do you remember what step 3 is?
It's to write the problem down.
I think it's to write like an equation, or and to solve it.
Well, yeah, right. The problem down and solve, and then
Yes.
work check, and then step 5 is do the answer. Yeah, I think.
I thought is step 4 a check, or is it
I think step 4 is check.
yeah. So for step 3 here, like what you want to remember is that area is length times width.
Mm-hmm.
But you know some of the numbers. You know the area is 35.7.
And that would be the width.
Width is 4.2.
2. So the length times 4.2. So that's 4.2, and it would be 4.2 on one side and 4.2 on the other
So
side.
you're going to divide both sides by 4.2.
Yeah. So you could do 35.7 divided by 4.2.
Yeah. So now in terms of dividing this though, the number on the bottom or the one that goes outside the house, it cannot be a decimal, or it should not be a decimal, I should say. So that means you have to move the decimal over to the right.
One space.
One space.
So then it just becomes 42 divided by 357.
Well, the order matters here. It's 357 divided by 42.
Yes,
and I'm not trying to be critical of you. It's just that the order really does matter. Okay, now this is a really tough one because 42 doesn't go into 3, and it doesn't go into 35, and 42 times 10, which is too big, is 420.
Yeah.
But we can do 42 times 9 to see what is really close to it. So 42 times 9, just to save us some time here, is 378. That's too big. 42 times 8 is
going 8 times.
Yes, it goes in 8 times, and you end up getting 336.
Which would then you subtract that, and that would be 21.
Okay, so you got to bring a 0 down.
You bring
Well, actually, that didn't show that correctly. There's a 0, it's 0.0, so bring that down. So this actually does work. It's 42 times 5 gets you to 210.
Okay. And then
So that puts the 5 there.
so then it could go so then 8.5.
Yep, there's your answer. That's step 3 though. It's not step 4. Step 4 is to check. So what do you remember what from looking at the picture how you might
What
check?
you do is you do 4.2 times 8.5.
Yes, exactly. It's said perfectly. The order does not matter.
And then you'd get 357.7. So yeah. So 35.7.
Yes. And that should check out, meaning it should be consistent with what you already know.
Okay. 5 would be L equals feet. Yes. Good.
So the step 5 is to make a sentence that says this is the result and tell what it is. It's basically the answer to
Okay.
step one, right? So step one to determine the width or the length. So you would just say the length is 8.5 meters, or the length of the room.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so I would like to actually look at some of your exam questions now, if you've got all of your questions answered.
Yep.
Okay. Uh, so what I'm trying to figure out here is which problems you actually did not get correct. Let's look at number 5 here first. Let me snip this in. All right, so when I see this, the is that a P right there? Letter P?
Yeah.
Okay. So you get like points with me for creativity. Um, you're like, oh, if it was a 5, then it becomes a
40.
40. And I think that's great. I mean, there's actually like a strategy there where like you just say, well, this is what I know to do, and put it down here. But what the instructor was looking for when it says expression means it's going to have a letter in it.
Yeah.
And
And
sometimes it's good to start with the pattern in words.
yeah.
Can you tell me in words what is happening here?
Each time you're adding 8, I think.
Okay, so that's true. But now what if we want to go from the number on the left to the number on the right?
Well,
Are you
1
still
times 8, 2 times 8 is 16, 3 times 8 is 24, 4 times 8 is 32, 5 times 8 is 40.
so but it's really P here. So here's what I heard. I'm multiplying packages by 8 to get rolls. One package times 8 gives you 8 rolls. Two
Mhm.
packages times 8 gives you 16 rolls. Like
Yeah.
that's what I meant by in words. And you're right. It's yeah, you're adding, but you're really multiplying to go from the input to the output. So what your instructor was looking for was something involving P. And we talked about it being the idea that it's either P plus 8, P minus 8, 8 times P, P divided by 8. Which of those rules works?
It would probably be P times 8.
Yes. And I no, I think you did this a while ago. I guess I was just going to say that the the strategy here was to maybe write them all out and convince yourself that one of them worked really well.
Okay.
All right, so let's look at number 6. Okay, number 6. Is that an S? Was that an S down there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so how do you go from the first number to the second number in the row there?
You would it'd be 5 times. So
Well, that's if you're going from right to left, but
yeah.
we're actually going to have to go from left to right here. So like
Five
you might say, well, it's
times
-4.
Oh, 5 times 1 is 5. 10
Right.
to
Right, but we want to get smaller. So so in terms of getting smaller, there are two math operations, subtraction and division. Larger is addition and multiplication.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see how 5 to 1 gets smaller?
Mm-hmm.
So you
It'd be
could
5 minus. Should be either division. It'd be division.
it is division. Like you might find that the -4 works for the first one, but it doesn't work for the second one. What do you divide 5 by to get 1?
By 1. 5 divided by 5.
That's right. Now, if that was
1.
unclear, you could always go to the next one and say, well, what do you divide 10 by to get 2?
10 divided by 5 is 2.
Right,
15 divided by 3.
by 5.
15 divided by 5 is 3.
Right.
20
So
divided by 5 is 4.
yeah, so
25 divided by 5 is 5.
yep. So it's S divided by 5 is your rule.
Okay.
And I think the word rule might help you better than expression. I mean, they really are expressions, but the rule maybe would mean more to you.
Okay.
Let me know when you got that down and we can move
All
on
right.
to.
I have that down.
Okay. So really the first thing to look for is like, is it to go from one to the other? Is it getting larger or smaller? That gets you down to 2 operations. Let's
Okay.
let's see here. Here we go. Number 7. So when you go from 1 to 4, it's getting bigger. 2 to 7 getting bigger. 3 to 10 getting bigger, and so on.
Yeah.
This is actually a more complicated one than we've looked at. There's actually 2 things that you have to do, which I don't think is anything we've talked about, but nevertheless here. So you might think it's +3, but does that work in the second one?
No.
Then you might say, well, maybe it's ×4, but that doesn't work in the second one either.
So then it would be.
So you're really stuck here. So this is where you've got to know so here's the answer.
Wouldn't it be
So here's the answer, August. You multiply the first number by something, and then you add another number here.
1 times 4.
Like for example, here, does this work for the first one? Is 1 times P, your P is 1, is 1 times the 1 that you're given.
Adding 1, adding 3. That would work.
But does it
1
work for the
plus
second
3.
one?
Okay. 2 plus 3 is 5.
So that doesn't work. So like, here's another one that you could try. You could say, well, what if it's 2 times P plus 2?
Okay, so 2 plus 2 is 4.
Does it work for
2,
the second one though?
that's also 4. No,
Yeah,
sorry,
it's 6.
6. That wouldn't
But it's
work.
not 7, so it's not that. Let's try one more. What if it's 3 times P plus 1?
Okay, so we do 3 and 1 and it's 4. Yeah, it's 5, 6. That wouldn't work either.
Which one does it not work for? Does it work for the first one?
It works for the first one.
Okay, so what is 3 times 2 plus 1?
3 times 2 is 1.
Nope,
Is
3
6.
times 2 is 6.
Oh, and then 3 times 3 is 9 plus. Oh yeah, it would work.
It does. It has to work for all of them though. And sorry, they use N, not P, so I guess we need to change that to N, but that would be the possibility. Now you'd not seen that. We actually started working on some of those and you said, oh, it's probably not going to be on my test. Looks like you got one question like that, unfortunately. So let's go back to number 3, if that's okay, after you get this down. So this one says to write an expression. It says there are more reptile species than amphibian species. So which is greater, the reptile or the amphibian?
There will be,
Which is
there are
more?
more, so reptiles.
Reptiles. So if you
There's
take
3,100
reptiles,
living species of amphibians.
if you take reptiles minus amphibians, this is the correct order because you always want to do the larger minus the smaller.
Okay.
Which are they giving you? It says there are 3,100 living species of amphibians.
They're giving you the amphibians.
Yeah. So we can
And
use a
there
letter
are
for
more reptile species than amphibian species, but it doesn't specify if there are 3
doesn't
times
specify.
as many. There are just
Right.
one more species,
Right.
or there is 10 times as many. Doesn't
Yeah,
specify.
that's a good point. It's almost as if the language of the problem isn't quite correct.
Yeah, like you could write, like you could do a small circle and then put an A in it, and then write a large circle and put an R in it.
Right. Right.
In a way.
So if you came to me as a student and you said, hey, it's either this or it's this, I would probably give you credit if you just said what you just told me right now. Problem is you didn't give that to the instructor.
Yeah.
And that's the problem here. It's like, it's like you used one of the wrong operations where there's no flexibility on that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think the instructor was looking for this first one. I would take the second one if you came to me and talked to me about it.
If once we're with this, I also have one more question for one of my homework.
Let's do it real quick because I gotta these lessons that start at 6:30 actually have to stop a little short. So what is the question?
So it would be 7 times x equals 47.6.
Like this?
Yeah, well, it'd be 7 and then just put an x because we don't do the times symbol anymore. We just do 7x and then equals 47.6. Yeah.
Okay, so you undo multiplication with division.
Division, so then you divide 7, okay, and then you divide 47.6.
So the
Divide by 7.
So the 7 goes on the outside, 47.6 on the inside.
Yeah.
Right. 7 goes into 47. That's your multiplication table.
Yeah. So then 7 goes into 47. Which one is that? The closest it can get is times 6, which is 42.
Yep, so 6 and then 42. And you subtract.
And you subtract 6 from that. And then that can go in 8 times.
Yes, and it goes in perfectly 8 times.
Yes. So then it would just be 56.
Yes. Well, yeah, 6.8 is your answer.
Oh, right. So yeah, that was my question.
Cool. All right, August. We'll pick up on Wednesday and keep going on this. Be happy to continue working on this with you. So thank you for letting me help you, and I'll see you in a couple of days.
Okay.
All right. Bye now.